Honey culture, the practice of raising and breeding domestic rabbits for meat or mainly wool. The long-eared, stubby-tailed and furry animals have the potential to be one of the more profitable species to raise in modern-day farming. Producing at least 8 offsprings per doe, the kits grow fast and reach either market or breeding weight more quickly than any other species of livestock. But what exactly is the rate of turnover? Considered easy to keep with a high reproduction rate, rabbits can be the next best prospect for food, nutrition and income. But what does one need to consider before making the leap into raising rabbits for profit rather than as a hobby? Tonight on Seeds of Gold, making an income from rabbitry. Coming up.
And within the COVID time, we have bred over 1,500 newborns.
If you're rearing chicken at 6 months, it will start giving you an egg per day. And what these people are looking at is quick multiplication and getting their money fast, which rabbit has naturally, because its gestation period is around 30 days. So in 30 days, we'll have around, now the minimum we're having here is 7. You have 7 babies in a month, which will grow at 4 or 5 months. So in 5 months, you can even sell them off and start getting money.
Mukasamu Awia is a mixed farmer, keeping livestock and growing crops on a commercial level. One of the most vibrant sites on his farm is that of the rabbit's house. Occupying a 50 by 40 meter space, the hatch complex contains over 1,500 vibrant breeds of rabbits. This is Mukasa's Million Farm project, and this is how it was started.
How I started, actually I had some visitors at the farm. It's a friend, so he came here at the farm because I wanted to start fish farming. Then I had to visit him because he has a hatchery. So when I visited, I saw a cage designed like in this design before. I think you will see the ones I started with. So when I saw the cage, it was in a very organized way, because we used to farm rabbits when we were still young. But this was a very organized way. So when I saw, I asked her where she got the rabbits, who built her the cages, because they were looking very nice. So she sent me to a lady in Mukono who has a farm. So I went to the farm. It's a small farm. So I saw, then I started getting the idea. That's where I got the idea from. Then I went on the internet, I started searching about rabbits. I also visited some farmers in Uganda, but they're all doing it on a small scale. So on Google, then I landed on Mr. Mtua Moses in Kenya. So I went to Kenya, we had a meeting, we talked, he took me to the markets around, he took me to the farmers in Kenya. So I saw a gap which I wanted to fill. So when I came back here, I invited him. So he came, we set up this structure and started. I started with 600 breeds from Kenya, brought me the rabbits from Kenya, because the rabbits we have in Uganda have interbred, yes, and some of them have dwarfed. Because I saw a rabbit in Kenya which weighs around 8 kilograms, a giant. So we are now interbreeding the giant with the standards to get out a rabbit that is moderate, that grows very fast and puts on weight very fast, so the farmer won't have to wait for so long to get out the meat.
Mukasa's main target is to produce at least 2 tons per day of the delicious rabbit meat to fill the local market needs. That means slaughtering 500 to 700 rabbits per day. The plan is to build up 60,000 rabbit breeders to capture that need in the shortest time possible. For this vision to be achieved, he set out to source for outbreeders, but the biggest question to him was, where is the market?
Breeding is like the chicken and the egg, which one came first? Because when you go to the market, they'll ask you for the supper, they'll ask you for the meat. When you come to the farmers, then they'll ask you for the market. So what we chose to do is to do it ourselves first, so that we have the biggest farm. Then the farmers will just add on to us. So the market is too big. Even here in Uganda currently now, the demand is a ton per day in Uganda, which we cannot satisfy. Reason, I've chatted with a few people, and someone will tell you, yes, I tested rabbit when I was still young. It was tasting like chicken. I asked him, would you want to test it again? Say, yes, but where can I get it? So that is already the market. So if you provide it to them, so it is already the market. If you look at those people who are doing agriculture on a commercial basis, their first challenge is supply, because they cannot supply, because what the market requires is sustainability. If you're a small farmer, someone with 2, 3, 4 rabbits, 10, you cannot sustain the market. So if you cannot sustain, you don't have the market. But if you can sustain, you have the market today, tomorrow, and the other day, because they know at any time, at any given time T, the meat will be there. At any given time T, I'll find the breeds there. At any given time this, so that the market is secured in that way.
Actually, in some case, in our markets, we are the people dictating about the price, because it's a commodity which has high demand and high value. So it's a high value livestock production enterprise, whereby the market comes to you to negotiate on how much to buy. Then you can say, like e.g. in our farmers, in our outgrow program, we agree with the farmer our buying price even before they start. That means the high value livestock. So market is going to remain, and farmers are going to gain much, because they produce very fast and the market is so huge and the price is good and the market is consistent.
At his current setup of 2,000 rabbits, Mukasa will need about 200 outbreeders each, producing about 300 rabbits per month to reach his desired 60,000 rabbits mark that can produce a ton of rabbit meat daily, the local market requirement. With this in mind, what should an outbreeder consider as a major capital investment to start?
What takes up the biggest chunk of capital is the breeds and the construction of cages. And the biggest consumer of cages is the timber, because now we're using wood. And the advantage I had the forest of eucalyptus. I planted in 2013. So I just cut down the forest, I got the timber, and I started off. But the biggest consumer of the cages is the wood. So if someone has access to wood, it is very cheap to start, and it is not very expensive to feed, because they feed 80% on grass. These are normal weeds we have. If you don't have even weeds for those urban farmers, you can get a bale of hay. People are selling hay. You can get a bale of hay, and also the feeds are not that much expensive. The pellets that we are feeding them on, and for our case, we are producing pellets ourselves. Them in time, you clean. Maybe for the mothers who are going to give birth, we give them multivitamins to support them, even for the kids. Now, as we are weaning them, so we give them multivitamins so that at least they can be strong. But apart from that, there's nothing else. And for the kids, now we're preparing another, like a grower's mash for them, where we're putting coccidiostat, because the biggest disease is the coccidiosis, which is transferred from chicken. So we have chickens around here, because we do free-range chicken, so we have chickens around here. So when they get in, when they have coccidiosis, it affects them, and I think it is their major disease. So what we do, we put coccidiostat in the feeds for the kids, for the weaners, so that we immunize them against that. But otherwise, there's no major disease for rabbits.
Still to come, the trick in minting rabbitry money. As COVID-19 slowed down businesses, Moses Mutua from Kenya was stuck in Uganda. No time to dwell on the unfortunate incident. He used the time effectively to breed over 1,000 rabbits in 3 months. This is Mukasa's rabbitry business partner, and he tells his story.
They call me Mr. Rabbit in Kenya, and I am a rabbit farmer. I am an expert in rabbit farming, and I am a seller of rabbit meat. I have been in rabbit farming for the last 11 years, and my main business is selling of rabbit meat. So I engage farmers and outgrowers where we train them and empower them so that they can supply us of good rabbits with an assured market. Then we slaughter and sell to our markets. I'm a Kenyan. I came here with my partner to promote this agriculture in Uganda. And now we think Uganda is going to be the best producer in Africa and eventually in the world, because the climate is good, the people are good, the weather is good. And it is, 4 months, because I came here like today and tomorrow COVID came, the border was closed. I've been here busy with farmers, and within the COVID time, we have bred over 1,500 newborns. So while people are fighting lockdown, we were busy breeding rabbits.
Rabbit meat is nutritious, high in protein, low in fat and cholesterol. These compose some of the unique selling factors for rabbit meat. This is what makes rabbit meat a game changer.
Rabbit meat is good, it's white meat. And even if it was not white meat, there's a problem of food security in the world. And with climate change, there is a decrease in production of mainstream livestock. The number of cows we are eating in Kampala every day is not equivalent to what we are producing. The way we are eating goats is not the way farmers are farming goats. So there's a gap. There's going to be a crisis of lack of meat, lack of food. That means there's a need of an alternative in the terms of meat plate in the kitchen. If you don't find cow meat, if you don't find chicken meat, what do you eat? So we brought in rabbits as a game changer. First, the best meat, the fast producing animal, and the most nutritious meat. So we have all the reasons.
How then does this white meat fare on the market?
For now, rabbit meat is still the most expensive meat. It compares with ostrich meat and veal. Because for those who know the quality and the goodness of the meat, they will pay that price. And also, with production still low and market very big, it means that the price is excellent. So right now, I would say even in local production promotion in Uganda, in Kenya, in Africa, we are still having a niche in terms of who can afford rabbit meat. So it is still expensive. It's now trading at around $12 per kg. So it's almost 2 times or 3 times the price of indigenous chicken in the market. But one rabbit can pay you better than 20 chicken. One rabbit can pay you better than 2 cows. I will give you an example. This animal here gives birth to 6 babies every 2 months. That means in 1 year, it will produce 36 babies. That is to a farmer who is new. In my farm here, you'll find our average is 10 babies per littering, 9 babies per littering. Times 1 year, it is 36 to 40 babies. 40 babies will weigh 4 kilograms each. That means 80 kgs of meat produced by this one rabbit. And if 1 kg is $12, how much is that? If you compute that and compare a chicken giving you 1 egg per day per year, 360 eggs compared to 40 rabbits each with 4 kgs. 1 egg is how much? Can you evaluate even in $1?
Rabbits are said to have 5 income inflows from meat, skin, urine, pet, and manure. What is the comparative advantage of raising rabbits?
They produce better, they eat less, they need small space. Like here is less than 14 feet by 75 feet, and we are breeding thousands of rabbits. The full capacity is around 7,500 rabbits, live rabbits in this space. But you cannot keep 5 cows here. You cannot keep 5 cows here without a grazing area where you take them out to eat. My bunnies here will eat 100 grams of food per day. Labor 1 hour per day for 2 people. Then we're done.
Rabbits are generally considered low capital investment because they don't often get sick, require minimal space and relatively easy to handle. But what are the bells and whistles of raising rabbits while maximizing yields?
So there's excitement that let me farm rabbits because they have market. But there's a problem about how do I meet the market quality? How do I produce them in a way that the market will accept them? So in our program, we have a whole value chain control. From the way you build the cage to the way you are going to feed your rabbits, we make animal feeds specifically for rabbit feed. And actually we are actually one of the specialized rabbit feed makers in Africa. So the farmer has the right cage, yes. The farmer gets the right breed, which will mature within the recommended time and give the right meat yield. Then the farmer feeds properly, is trained. Then when the farmer is now working, we have what we call extension support, where we have our vets, where we have our own supervision team, so that the farmer again is monitored to do proper practice. That way, we engage the farmer in a contract because we know the farmer will produce under our standards. That way we can buy a good rabbit which has the right meat bone ratio, the right texture, and then we get to the market.
A proper structure is one of the major properties needed at the start of a rabbit business. Moses defines an appropriate hatch for a productive rabbit.
When getting the proper structure, we look at three things. Because again, the export market requires certification. And one of the certifications starts from the rights of the animal. So the rights of the animal is that to keep it in an environment whereby it can live in its natural habitat, not in the bush, but in a room whereby it can be able to play, it can be able to stretch to the whole size, can be able to jump and not touch the roof, so that the animal is not in a stressed environment. So for that case, for rabbits, we consider the length of a rabbit. The length of a rabbit, the longest rabbit is 2.5 feet. When it is stretching from end to end, it's a breed called Rex. So that gave us a standard of the cage size. That means that the width here is going to be 2 feet. And the length from here to the other rabbit is going to be 2.5. And the height is going to be 2 feet. Meaning that this animal can jump. If it is standing up, it cannot touch the top of the cage. If you find it relaxed, it can be able to feel comfortable as if it is in its right house. Even the productivity of the rabbit will increase. The quality of the meat is determined by the animal's strength. There's something we call adrenaline in humans. I don't know, even in livestock is there. I have seen people in Uganda, let me be specific, carrying cows from the farm to the marketplace where they are tying the tail against the car. Then 2 cows, the horn, there is a rope between the horn. So the environment, how you are moving the animal from farm to slaughter. By the time you are slaughtering the animal, the meat is already stressed. You cannot get proper cow meat worth export because of that handling.
A well-maintained rabbit should be able to provide 15 kilograms of white meat at maturity on condition it's of a good breed. The kind of breed is the other factor you need to consider if you are to make it in the business.
We have been researching and improving breeds over time, and in our value chain we are producing rabbits for meat. That means we look at how the meat yield is within the minimum time. So in the business, you need a rabbit to be able to give you at least 3 kgs at 5 months. 3 kgs at 5 months. If you grow it to 6 months, the meat becomes hard. The quality is, and even the meat bone ratio is compromised. So what happens? We try to make a rabbit which can grow within 5 months and give us 3 to 5 kgs. So how do we achieve that? Generally there are 2 standards of rabbits. They are what we call standard breeders, like the California white, New Zealand white chinchilla. They produce many rabbits, but they grow longer. They will take 6 months to give you 4 kilos. So that class is good. Then we have, like this guy I'm holding here, this one is called Dutch. It's a giant breed. And we have Flemish giant, we have American chinchillas, we have giant New Zealand's. That means that that breed is a giant setup. It can give you up to 4 kgs within 4 months. So the two breeds are good to a farmer, but what the market wants, or what do we advise the farmer? So we have improvised our breed whereby we have crossed, and not inbreeding. Crossing this giant male to a standard like the whites you are seeing there, so that the baby we get is not about the color of the baby, it is the meat yield of the baby. And also we don't want the farmer to wait for long before you sell. So within 5 months, you have sold your rabbit and you have gotten 3 kilos at least per rabbit.
Let's talk feeding.
And everybody, our age, like we are here, we once kept rabbits as boys. So that boyish weed we used to cut, put in one sack and feed the rabbits is the same way we are feeding this, only that we are going to advise the farmer not to just throw, to maybe put in one corner, or to put it when it is cleaned. You don't go to the marketplace to collect waste and feed to your rabbits, but you can easily cut from a garden, uproot, cut the soily area, then feed. So feeding a rabbit, actually up to maturity, is 30% of the cost of the rabbit. If you are going to sell the rabbits at 10 shillings, for example, the cost of your feeding will be 3 shillings. So in business, it makes sense whereby the amount you spend on the animal and the amount you sell, you make twice the profit. When we calculate in Kenya, in the Kenyan language, we say 120 shillings per month per rabbit. So the 100 goes to the feed, 20 shillings go to the medicine. And we don't factor another cost, because in terms of labor, that farmer keeping rabbit is the same farmer to provide labor, unless you have over 200 rabbits plus. If you have 200 breeders plus, you will need either to train. If you are a farming setup, you head cows, there's always somebody working at home. Your sister, your brother, your house girl, the house boy, you yourself, if you have time. It is not labor intensive. If you look at this cage, the waste goes down, it is sweeps, comes to this gutter. So in the morning, you just sweep this line and you are done. So the cage is self-cleaning. So labor, like what you are seeing here, with over 1,500 rabbits, and we use only 2 guys to wash and sweep in the morning. 2 hours, then they go to other work.
What does the future for Kapeka Rabbittery look like?
Where we are now, we have identified a space where we're going to put the largest rabbit genetic center in Africa. We want to develop a breed suitable for Africa. That means we have tried to import rabbits before, like the origin of this one is Britain. The Californians are American rabbits. And most of the time when we import them, they don't give us the right response, the right production based on our climate. So we're setting up a center whereby you're going to bring semen from Italy. So it's a company we're partnered with in Italy, which will actually be part of setting the center. Then we bring the semen, we try to improve our breed, is what is there, and see what we are going to get. That way we're going to release rabbits which are made in Africa, a mixture of the African and the other pedigree on the other end, then we get a good result. We are having a rabbit which is growing at 5 months. And in France, Germany, America, what they're doing now, they're having a breed which is giving you a kg of meat per month. A kg of meat per month. That means their market requires 1.5 kg of meat dressed weight. So they keep rabbit only for 2 months to get an average of 1 kg. So that cycle of 60-day to 70-day cycle is what we're trying to bring up here, and it's going to be active by mid next year. And very good that we have gotten the support of the government. We had a chat with the State Minister for Livestock and Agriculture. And actually, I learned that there's a animal genetic center for the nation, for Uganda. And we will work with them to make sure that our farmers get the best.
Rabbit meat is popular in Europe and Asia, with China producing and exporting the greatest number of rabbit meat, at least before the pandemic. The export market requires about 10 tons per week at the bare minimum. If the Uganda market requires 1 ton per day, but even that is not being filled up, what is stopping you from making money out of rabbitry?